So from senior in high school to now, there seems to be a pattern of one thing, whether you were saved or not. And to me, that's drive or commitment to do what you set out to do. Fear came up for the one book, you overcame it, and now there's 6. There's some kind of... So was that something that was taught to you? Or was there a memory that you have of you're going to be committed to something and not give up on something? Or was that like a mentor?
I would say that I am often inclined to try to do what I want to do as opposed to what God would want me to do. And every strong leader is, right? There's a human element to being a strong leader. And I would say that the number one value that I have that drives me above any else is to be honoring to the Lord. And what I mean by that practically is to fulfill His calling on my life, right? Which is dynamic, right? I mean, there's a specific calling, that changes, time to time. But my highest value is to do what God wants me to be doing at that moment, that day, that week, that month, that year, that decade. And so when I have been inclined, let's say, to not publish a book out of fear, or inclined to not leave a great position to go to seminary, or inclined to, take care of whatever is different than what God wants me to do, let's just say that God has been very strong with me, right? In other words, it's really been God's strength and God's power against my natural inclination to cause me to do what He wants me to do. So ultimately, the reason I'm where I am is because God has been faithful to be strong enough with me to make sure that I follow His calling on my life. So when I get out of alignment with His calling, it's like God drops an anvil on my head and I am in agony. Right? So that's the dynamic process. Right? It's not a human rationalization to overcome fear or a human rationalization to overcome wanting money. Right? It's literally God's power at work within me, which I think is simply the back end of genuinely trying to be fully submissive to what the Lord wants.